All right, we're back. I'll get the light on. Sorry. So I've had a week off. I was away. So what we're going to do, I think, at the start is just work on these clouds. I think now that the sky's dry. So it's just a very light blue. Now my whites and stuff, everything's going to be dry on the board. So anyway, what can you do? Get some white going. It's really just a little bit though. We don't need a lot. So it sort of dries on the outside, but you can just peel off that skin. So you never lose that much oil, to be honest, which is nice. It is very light, so I'm only going to do a little bit of blue. I could have done too much blue here. Yep, classic. So I think this is going to be a bit too more white. So that's a good start. There you go, rusty as. So more white. And we'll just have a little bit of that blue. It is mostly white, to be honest. Got a nice, beautiful baby blue. So we can see our outlines. So I think what I'd try to do is just sort of, clouds are, especially these ones, they're wispy sort of things. So we just want to, not putting too much paint on the brush, but just trying to blend it in, I think, would be what we're looking for. Sometimes that extra white gives it a bit of highlight, but it's really that fuzzy full body, which gives it that sort of cloudish appearance, and some of those highlights of the white will just pick up where the sun is. But I think for now we're just trying to keep them. It's a bit too white, but it's alright. Good to have some variation. I think also seems to be around here, and I can sort of see the paint, what I've done. So just that bit of that pizzazz. Get it in there. There's no real method. I think it's just to be less paint, the better on the brush. It looks a bit more whitish down below, just because that's where the sun sort of hits. So maybe we just make it a bit more solid below. And the good thing about oils is you can really just layer it on, not too thick. And here it's a bit different. But they change our view a bit. They're okay. What have we got here? again, not too much, but just enough to sort of, it's just a bit more than what we've got, just to, I think, give it that beautiful, wispy, cloudy sort of look. Oof, too much paint there, but wow, okay. So we'll just try to mix that in and around. But you can always just make it work. It's a bit, it almost thinks, I feel like this is too white, to be honest. But that's, maybe if we can spread it out a bit, soften it up. Maybe just not such distinctive lines, especially here. No, I like that, to be honest. Maybe we need to bring this in a bit. Yeah, and as I said, not too much paint, and here I am painting too much. So that's alright, we'll just spread her out. That sort of looks okay. We do want a little bit of a highlight on this, so just get some delicate whites around the top. Thick colour, just adds a bit of shape, bit of variation. Nice. Blend that in sort of, not so hard. Now I think they're not my best, I'll tell you what. It's a very distinctive line, isn't it? Alright. I'm noticing it's just a little bit more pronounced on the top here. I'll just get a bit more of that colour in. Here I'm not doing it too much. Make it a bit of a better cloud look. Oh, so it's questionable. It's not horrible. How's that? Just put that almost like a separation of clouds. It is off here a bit, so maybe we can get a bit more. Alright, now we don't want to do too much. I think that's okay. These are sort of wispiness. They're not really, they're clouds. Some formations of sunlight, but I probably would have been more inclined to do more of this, but I've sort of gone too much, so too much white, but that's just how it is. Yeah, I think that's, I wonder if there's like a bit of, this is some fadey sort of clouds. I wonder if we can, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. They look a bit too by themselves, I think you could say. Just have that sort of cloud appearing out of the mist there. Get another one sort of here. Don't need to do too much, but just enough to sort of make it look a little bit more believable, I suppose. I'm going in here, I don't know why, but anyway. Change it up. These are random. Ooh. And then we just get a bit wild there, and okay. I feel like that's sort of getting us where we want to be. Right, so we've got some clouds sort of moving. I think that's sort of where I would end it. This is just needs to be filled in a bit, just like that. Alright, there's the lack of, I'm just using, I don't know if it's the light or the colour, but it's definitely a bit streaky, but sort of gives us that look of just sort of peeling, moving forward back towards us over. So I think we can. I think this one's probably my worst one, but maybe fix it up. It's also hard because I've painted very texturally over that, so you're sort of getting the texture of that as well, of the paint. It's been dried. Just trying to like move it a bit, make it look a little bit more than what it is, what it was. Probably gone too wide, but anyway, keep those and hope for the best. So we got some clouds in. It's just subtle, not too much. And then next we're gonna all right, so now we want to. I'm curious about this. So it is white. This blue. I'm gonna get the photo up on my phone. So I'm thinking of. Find something to turn here. So I think I'll paint the darker looking blue first. Just want to confirm the colour though. It's quite brighter on the left. I just want to check out that colour first. Then we've got a bit of snowstorm sort of coming around the tops of the mountains. And like I think I can probably paint the water as well. I think get a good indication of where that is. Maybe I could, well, my phone's turned on, I could just draw that out a bit. So it sort of is about, is at the top of 8, runs to the top of 8 and 20. So 20 and on top of 8. So sharpen my pencil. Up there, so it runs sort of there's 20, and then it sort of fizzles in there. Where's that? 23 and 23 and 9. And then 9, in the 9 box, it's sort of half and then to 25. About there. And then we've got the mountain coming up again. So that's sort of that water, but then we've got a bit of land. So this sort of just comes all the way. What is that? 12 and 19, 20. We've got that sort of going. Comes up, comes down, comes up, sort of like that. And then we've got the 7, sort of starts 8 and 1. Maybe like something like that. And then we've got our water coming. What's that? 10 and 11. Sort of a bit like that. Get to that point, it's next to 8 and 9. So it's like that sort of water. What's this? 12, oh no, 11. 11, 9. A bit like that. A bit like that. Oh, there's water running through there. Interesting. 18. Alright. Where is this? 12. So it goes up into this. Drops below. And then 22. Sort of has this. Where is that? Top of 10, 19, 20. 19, 20, top of 10. A bit like that, to be honest. That's what I'm looking at. So this is going to be all water. Probably what I'm looking at. It's good to just get a rough indication. Oh, my phone. All right, so that light blue that we used, we could probably use in the back end of. So I think maybe it's a bit too dark looking at it. It's a bit too dark in the middle there. Looks a bit more blue. I'm curious to do a little test. You don't want to go like whitish like that, but it's like it's definitely a bit more of a I don't know if I'm going to ruin it. Go back yourself. Is that too blue? Definitely too blue. Now the issue with this is so I think it's like too purple. So I think I'm just trying to take the purple out, but not. I like that colour, but I wonder if I can just use this blue, just a little bit on top of it, to be honest. And it could maybe just help me out in terms of just a little bit purpley for my liking. Again, not too much on the brush. If we can get this purple out of there, I think we'll be doing all right. And so I like the colour that's underneath it. And then I wonder if that's doing a bit more for us now. It's still not quite the right colour. Might just have to be a bit more aggressive with blue. It's like a purpley sort of colour, but it's more blue than purple, to be honest. Here. I really like the snow caps I've done here, so it's more just contrasting on the other side where the sun is. So I think, no, I just don't think I need to really touch that. Now, this is just sort of the background I'm touching, but you can sort of see it already. Let's just look a little bit different. You can always add a bit more to it. Do a bit too much white there. You can see how quickly it just takes it away. Sort of pulls the eye in. So it's definitely not a whitish colour that we're looking for. But something to signal that the snow peaks are there. And then I want to get the blue in here. It's not really that dark ground sort of look, but snow's blue. It's just about adding enough in without add a bit more. Hello, Lewis. All right, so that's looking a bit more like how I'd want it. Just put a bit more purple here. This area. I think we just need to get rid of a little bit. Okay, and then also the snow line is also important, but like the ice. So sort of pretty close that it's on that line. It just sits in the, so I think if we just bring this, make it a bit more even. Obviously it's not the right colour, to be honest. Yeah, let's see. And then you can just add that white, and that's really what's gonna, you can see like, okay, now the sun's hitting here, and that's what's causing this. Once we get to have a bit of fun. There's not too much of that white, there's a little bit up here, but it's very minute. Like, have I done too much? Bring that in, like, where's that? How's that looking? We'll go down a bit. Like, oh, okay. See it now. There's quite a lot happening up here. I'm just gonna re-highlight that top. And it's almost like a yellowy, I think, almost. So we've got that rocky face. I feel like it's not here in the image, but I feel like we can get away with it here. Sort of just that little bit there. We can maybe do a little. Alright, so they're starting to pop out at us. And then I think if we even maybe just the top here. Oh, yeah. Alright. Let's disappear that line. Like now we've got quite a few mountains looking here. And we can even just bring one in here as well. I feel like they're almost a similar. Alright, that's okay. That could be carried away. That has enough. So I'll close this door. Like there I want to, I think you don't want to go too crazy here, but sort of has that power to do another. Let's just. Yeah, I reckon this line. A bit more dynamic. Yeah. And then more white in there. Is that creating the snow effect that we're hoping for? I think it's good enough. Alright, so I think that's good for now. Looks slightly less purple than before. Now we're going to go into the other mountains. So the other mountains, it's very much that blue with like a blue yellow. So it's like white highlights. It's whitish yellow. I think it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it could even be a bit more white on that side I was working on. But I don't mind it. It looks, the yellow that I have on the mountains needs to be a bit more red than yellow, so I need to do a bit of that as well. We'll get there though. So I think I'm just gonna put in this sort of this darkish blue. Which I wonder, the one I was doing for the clouds is good. Let's have so delicate brush we probably need, to be honest. Some nice mountains. Which now we don't have any delicate brushes. Alright, so okay, so starting, so it's just in 5, so within 5, but I don't really have the sky there, so I'm sort of going to have to paint this in. I think that's probably the colour you're looking for. It's very soft. It's very soft. And it looks almost as if the dark is a bit more dark. A bit more of that colour later on. So 16, 17. 16 there's a really big white sort of structure. So I won't really paint into that. Got the mountain here. And we just need to get the shape right, and then I reckon I'm going to have to let it dry and then do the white, or that yellow and white that sort of sits on top of it. I'm just going to go into this mountain. It's likely where the darkness will be anyway, but try to do as little as possible. Just let him paint the sky into all of that. Alright, so we're getting some, and then it comes really white, and then we sort of wrap around here. Just sort of make it up. Let's get that indication. Because then at the top of 5 and 15, it sits about there. And another one, it's almost a different colour again. About here. This is where we start to see that grey that we put in the sky. It's going to come in. Especially when we get that white. And it sits. You don't need to go over that. It really does sit sort of a bit like that. Now, I wonder if this is the right colour. I feel like I need a bit more of another blue, darker blue. Okay, so that's it's a good start. I'm concerned it's not the right colour. It really is a faint purple. So I think what we're going to do is just make a whole lot of that. So grab a bit of blue, a lot of white, and we're going to do a touch of red. And I feel like everything's going to be based off this colour. Get that red, got the blue in there. Even do the so it looks like blue, but it's just a faint purple. I find this colour also in sometimes skies at dawn, no, dusk. Dawn as well maybe, but it looks like blue, but it's a strangish blue, but it's actually a very. I'm just doing tiny drops of that red. And I think we're pretty close. Maybe just paint with this thing. Oh yeah. So we've got this. This is the colour I was going for previously. My issue is I sort of left that on a bit thick at the previous thing. I don't know. It's just a little bit more like this colour, but it's just faint enough. It's not that baby blue that I was putting on before. It's not quite the right colour. It's crazy, just a little bit of red. That's all we need. Bright red. Just to make it almost an off blue. So the snow sort of stops where it stops for fix up that line of the mountain when we come to it. But that's I think that's looking all right. And then the top of 5 over 10, 11, and 12. 10, 11, 12, top of 5, sort of in this realm as well. I'm just going to start going for it, to be honest. Okay, and then you sort of have this come down all the way to 8 and 9. This flex of it. And we've got a mountain top of 6 and 7 goes up down here. So I'm sort of just trying to map out the it's good to get a little indication of where things are going, and then I think it becomes quite dark in here. So you sort of get a, okay, that's where we're going, and then from there, 5 and 6, it looks like it's mainly almost a completely different colour, so I don't really want to pass there, to be honest. And the snow doesn't really get below that 5 point, it sort of sits in this realm. So now, it's not quite the right colour, but much like before. So I haven't really used this thing before, but something put on the paint. All right. It's very interesting. It's really, it hides the paint, but doesn't at the same time. It's weird. Yeah, so we really want to get this snow colour really in there as much as we can. And I think we can sort of actually feels fine, but the brush is super hot. Just make sure that we get enough paint within this mountain, and then we can always go over the end of the darkness. But I think that's sort of where it sort of stops. I've got heaps of this colour, which is always a bonus. All right, so then now we want to just have white, to be honest. Pretty much start, maybe get a yellow white in there as well later on, but I think for now just try the white. Maybe. All right, so the first big one is 16, 17, just in here. So like what we want to do is try to just get the, what's it going to look like? So it is quite wet. It's going to be a little bit challenging, and then in terms of, it's going to be stuff like this. Now you can spend ages trying to make these right, but the reality is not many people are going to look at them, even take note. Do a few highlights. Just to give it that peaky looking feel. So, we got that sort of looking how I want it. That peak at 13, we're going to peak. Way too much paint on my brush. I also have like a bit of, it's very hard because I think it's not on, well, it's already on the, now you risk of feeling it being very repetitive, which I think adds a bit of staleness to the image. So try to, obviously we're just mountain peaks and stuff like that, but we want to try to keep it interesting. So that's okay, and then it almost has this little thing here, and we don't get any more till down here. And I think when we do this yellow, like there's some nice good white in there, texturing there. And it's nice. Now we really feel like because it's so bright here, and then when I cut this line dark, it's really going to push those mountains back, and it shows that there was sort of hitting the sun, which is nice. And then sort of have all this white. Yeah, I don't know if I'm using the right brush now. So it's that white which is really what draws our eye in. So that's what we think where the sun is. So I can keep it really white around here. So we've got that snow sort of coming in. It's looking good. Alright, now we really get some sun on these. This is where we start to get a bit more white. We can have a bit of fun, really. Like I want to maybe mix a touch of yellow. It's that canary yellow though, so I've got that colour. So that's so strong. I don't know if it's the right colour. What we're trying to get in here is this. And it's like the yellows. It's just creating that sunshine look. Could be too much, but now that's that, which is what we're sort of after in a way. And you really get the highlights strong on the tops of the ridges. So it's good to build off a bit of that I've got. Yeah. So it's just building the highlights. Sort of making it really pop. Sort of get a little bit more. Going a bit more yellow now. But see, now we really making that pop over here. Alright, so that's really bringing this towards us now, and I think we can sort of continue that on into here. Yeah, and that's really got some cool effects now. Alright, so we've got quite a interesting, oh, that's popping. Could be too much. Now I wonder if I can use it's just a slight little red. Like that orange. Don't want to be too much with it. I think it's going to really pop it. So we've got red coming in. So it just warms it a little bit, doesn't it? We've got yellow. As I see these distinct lines, that's what you really want to try to create. It sort of creates a lot of movement. Now, it seems like this one's a little bit too strong. Could be because it's too full of colour. It looks almost higher, so how do we fix this? We need to make something a little bit more. So I feel like this gap's not working for me. Alright, so we'll bring that up. And now that really you can sort of see this sort of light coming in over here, in there. And I think that red is sort of done some nice, yeah, you can really feel it. Does sort of go into this sort of area, so I might just, this is the edge of the painting, but you know, it is sort of faint. Oof, it's a bit too much, isn't it? That's the keys to sort of put it in all of the painting. Just that. Too much? So I'm just trying to blend a bit of red. I think it's too white there, but that's creates our... Again, the picture's going to stop here, so you're not really going to focus on this too much. Alright, so I really went a bit off track there, but that's what we're looking for. Now, this yellowness is... I wonder if we can really push it in. I wonder what that looks like in there. Is that the colour we're going for? Could be too yellow. It's still white, but I just want to get a bit of yellow green in there. It softens it, I think, a little. Yeah, I feel that's the light colour. Remains to be seen. Alright, so we've got a bit too much yellow, I'd say. But we will can always sort it out. I think I'll stop it there.